Boogie was on the pod, and he got a hot take off, although it's not that hot of a take to me. He wanted to bring up the top 5 point guard position question. And he staked his claim as to why he believes that the point fraud is not a top 5 point guard.
My question to you guys is, can we get a top 5 all-time PGs list?
Do you feel like somebody shouldn't be on that list?
It's Chris Paul. Every time
love
I
it.
hear a
Let's
top
go.
5 PG list, Chris Paul is in it, and I'm not really understanding why. No,
Exactly.
not the CP. Strictly for
I mean, hold up. DeMarcus, it is a knock. It's okay. I'm here for you. I'm here. Let's call it what it is. It is a knock to the point fraud to say that he's not a top 5 point guard, because as he said, most lists you see the point fraud is on it. And they always throw up his accolades and throw up his numbers, and he's done this record, he's efficient, he's done this. I'm like, okay, cool, but he's a fraud though. He's a dirty player. He's nefarious. He's a charlatan. He is all of these things. He circumvented the CBA when he was head of the Players Union. He did all of these things. Ran through Kim K. Look, all these things. And yet we keep propping him up, or y'all, not me. Y'all keep propping him up to be something that he clearly has shown that he doesn't belong. The baller formerly known as Boogie, DeMarcus Cousins, continues.
Accolades and a performance standpoint, I don't think Chris Paul is top 5.
Is it Magic, Steph,
Right.
Zeke? CP3 is not behind.
You got to bring up Steve Nash.
Okay, now wait, hold up. Now, I don't know if I'm putting Steve Nash that high. I don't know if I'm making him the 4th best point guard of all time. But if we're just trying to make sure we have enough bodies to keep the point fraud out, okay, I'm rolling.
2 MVPs.
We got to bring up John Stockton.
Stockton,
We gotta
okay.
bring in Westbrook.
Dirty as hell, too.
So you willing to
Wait, hold up. He brought in Westbrook. Oof. He brought in Russie. All right. Now, here's the problem. I know what the baller formerly known as Boogie DeMarcus is doing. He's trying to make sure I'm going to put up dudes with hardware that is undisputable in this argument. I'm going to bring up a point guard that has 2 MVPs and another point guard who has an MVP and was averaging a triple-double, so that way those accolades trump all the other accolades that the point fraud might have. So I understand the logic here. It's a strong argument. Now, between us, you know what I'm saying? Like between us, we know Steve Nash ain't no damn 4th greatest point guard of all time. And we also know Russie ain't no damn 5th greatest point guard of all time. But for the sake of the argument, just to get the point fraud up out the paint, we're going to ride with the baller formerly known as Boogie DeMarcus Cousins.
him above CP3.
I mean, he's an MVP.
The internet is going to be set ablaze.
I think CP3 would have cooked Stockton.
We're not talking about who's better. All-time
All-time
assists,
assists,
All-time assists, all-time steals.
And nobody's going to break the record. And we going back to the top 5. True point guard. Rajon
True.
got to be on the list.
Rondo.
Rajon.
Hey, y'all know, and I'll come off the screen share here. That's pretty much the end of the clip. Y'all know how I feel about Rondo in this podcast. He is the point god, whether it's G-O-D or G-A-W-D, however way you want to spell it. Rajon Rondo is him. Okay, so the fact that the baller formerly known as Boogie DeMarcus Cousins said true point guards, again, because that's what the point guard position is. Because low-key, the fact that we just throwing Steph in there, I could debate that, but that's another pod for another day. But we're just trying to make sure we have enough dudes to put in front of the point forward to make sure he's boxed out of the top 5. So we have Magic, we have Zeke, we're allowing Steph to be in there, and now you're putting in Stockton, and then for me, you're putting Rondo there. If we're going to allow scoring point guards that can facilitate in there, then why not someone like Stephon Marbury? Now, again, I know a lot of people are like, Marbury, but look, numbers. We're talking about numbers, right? There was a point in time where Magic, the Big O, and Stephon Marbury, Starbury, Coney Island's finest, all had the same averages. All had the same averages. And this was after 8 years. After an 8-year clip, there was only 3 PGs that had those types of numbers, and it was Magic, Big O, Starbury. So if we're going to have that conversation and we're just allowing Steph to be in there when we know he's not truly a point guard, plays the point guard position, but again, when we put true point guard in there, we know that's different. We know Wardell is not in that conversation. If we're talking about true, now you're talking about Magic. Now you're talking about Stockton. Now you're talking about Zeke. Now you're talking about Rondo. And now you're talking about someone like Starbury. And there's more. But we know who we not talking about is this point fraud. And that's what the baller formerly known as Boogie is not here to do. He's here to air him out. And it's because he's a player that's not afraid to talk about this. Because again, I'm telling you, as someone that used to work on NBA radio, there was a lot of conversations off air about how certain players really moved. And a lot of stuff that I thought watching games at the crib and knowing the few little people that I knew, a lot of that stuff was confirmed once I started working deeper and deeper into the industry. And I was like, oh yeah, this dude really is that. Okay, cool, got it. I'm airing him out every chance I get because I got way more sources to co-sign the stuff that I was just picking up from afar. I mean, this man was kicking people and punching people in the nuts in college, and he has done similar tactics throughout his career. It's not like he had this young spurt of just being dirty and then he matured. This man has continuously found a way to be dirty. The year after the bubble, the year leading into them going to the finals, every playoff series leading into the finals, and even in the finals, he did one thing minimum that was dirty, that was blatantly dirty. He did that. And no one talks about it. Point fraud, State Farm, Cliff Paul, HBCUs, honorary degrees left and right. It just all happens. Documentaries on Netflix. It just doesn't change anything. I've never seen a person be this blatantly dirty and nefarious at their job and there's a few in the government all right, whatever. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Chris Paul has been allowed grace, the type of grace that usually is not allowed to not only an athlete, but an athlete that looks like him. And his latest move with Alvarado and throwing bows, and I'll share the screen here again. We'll get off the baller formerly known as Boogie. Go here to the clip. I will mute this because it's a TV clip. This elbow that he throws, boom, right there. Elbow, upper elbow, throws the elbow not just to the chest. This is an elbow to the sternum and to the neck, to the chin. Like, and Alvarado points at the ref like, yo, look at your mans. Look at your mans. You see him, right? Like, and that's the thing. With Alvarado pointing like that has been that picture of him pointing at the ref, like, look at your mans, has been essentially me for the entirety of me doing this podcast. Look at your mans. Here's yet another example. This isn't Exhibit A. This isn't even Exhibit Z. We're past that. We're past that at this point. There's too many examples that you could go on YouTube and look up. There's dirty compilations of the point fraud. They're more than 10 minutes long. More than 10 minutes long. He's throwing bows. And I'm glad that the NOLA TV network pulled this clip out, because there was a lot of trying to figure out, well, what really made that beef pop off? Because a lot of people thought it was the Zion dunk. And while some of it might have been the Zion dunk, that certainly got the most attention. This was what was really popping off with that, after that play. They're going crazy, they're going wild, and the point fraud throws a bow at Jose Alvarado because that's the guy that really gets him going. That's the guy that has exposed him. That's the guy that has made him lose his cool. That's the guy that has done the same type of dirty tactics that he would do. So again, it's like seeing yourself. I'm telling you, it's like holding up a mirror. This is who you are. You are Jose Alvarado. You are nothing but a better Jose Alvarado. That's who the point fraud is. Same dirty tactics, same trying to find a way to cut corners, but Alvarado had to do that so nobody he could get to the league. When the last time who knows where Alvarado went to college? Was he ranked coming out of high school? Was he top 100? Was anyone ever made aware of a Jose Alvarado before he popped up on the scene, exposing the point fraud and doing the thing of sneaking up behind people after inbounds in full court? Did anyone even know who he was? That's how he got to the league, doing things like that. Yet we had the point fraud who was doing those types of things, and they're putting him on top 5 of all time list. Make it make sense.